Are you excited?
I'm super excited.
You look excited, but you didn't sound very excited.
I'm excited.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Golfish podcast. This is our last episode for 2019, also the last episode for season 1. And so I have my amazing husband and producer with me, Rich Goodman.
What's going on, everybody?
And we are going to do something a little bit different this episode. We have not done an episode where we're talking about our thoughts about golf or anything like that. And we had a great episode planned for y'all on Tuesday, and then last minute decided it needed to be 2 episodes, and we wanted to give Jen all of her time in the spotlight because it was such a great interview. So we are coming back January 7th, the first Tuesday, and then we'll be back to our regular planned programming on Tuesdays for season 2 to start 2020. So this episode, we are doing a play on the 12 days of Christmas, so the 12 things of Golfish. So these are 12 things that happened or impacted us or we thought were interesting in golf in 2019.
Very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Fun stuff.
We looked into some things, we removed some things. It's just a highly opinionated piece. So if you don't agree, we totally understand. Tell us all about how awesome and correct we are on social, or I guess tell Rich how wrong he is on social. I'm just kidding. All right.
Let's start with number 1.
What is number 1?
Number 1, we're going to talk about the fun things that the USGA did with their rules changes. People are still pretty much confused.
Yep, everyone's confused.
Caddies still can't line up behind their players. That seemed to start getting corrected, I feel like, but I think it's still kind of happening. You got to remember Ricky Fowler doing the special drop at the knee for when you have to do your penalty drops. That was kind of funny. Leaving your flag stick in while putting. That was a big one. That was a big change.
I would say not all players are loving that.
No.
A lot of them are still taking it out.
I don't think they've gotten into the mathematically correct meaning behind leaving the stick in, so
we'll leave that to Bryson.
Yeah, we'll have to kind of bring Bryson in to tell us a little bit more about that. But I guess 3 minutes as to look for your lost ball as opposed to 5 minutes.
So if you're a weekend golfer and you haven't found your ball in 3 minutes,
or
let's just
10
call
minutes.
it. Yeah, or 10 minutes. Call it what it is. Just take the drop, go back to where you started.
Yeah,
and
slow
just
play.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
So basically, we've gone to the USGA being mainly a self-regulated sport now. So
the USGA came out with their change rules at the end of 2018. The USGA and RNA came out with these rule changes at the end of 2018 for 2019. People, like Rich said, people are still super confused. I mean, if you were watching, there was a senior LPGA player that hadn't played in a while and got 50-plus strokes on one round because her caddy lined up behind every hole. And thank you to the nice people that were playing around her or the rules officials that didn't say, hey, yo, like, stop this after maybe 1 or 2 holes. But,
rude.
you know.
Pretty rude.
So we're still seeing that a little bit. I think if you're watching any of the tournaments, you're seeing caddies behind the player and then like quickly jumping away as they're about to line up their putt. So yeah, I think it's been kind of interesting. The dropping of the knee, dropping the ball at the knee is really funny for like tall players because they just like, they look so funny. Like I think John Rahm looks hilarious.
It's even better with Kuchar.
It is. It's good with Kuchar too.
Yeah.
It's good with
lanky
Kuch.
Dude.
Yes. So
all right, on to the next one. Number 2. I gotta turn this over to Amy because this one's a big one.
This was a big one for me, and I was so happy. The 2019 brought along the death of the collarless polo. See it? Never. That thing was awful. I did not.
Professional.
I did not. Yeah, right. Like I didn't love it from a professional standpoint. I think it just looked like a Henley t-shirt. And if anyone's wondering if it really did die, when those first came out and Tiger and Rory were sporting them and everyone was talking about it, whether they liked it or not, they were talking about it. But they were $70 to $90 from Nike. Yeah. They're now like $30 to $45, and you can get them at Kohl's now for like 50% off. So, sayonara, do not come back.
Yeah, see you never.
So the third one, there was a lot that happened this year at the Masters. So if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know Rich and I were super fortunate to be there on Sunday when Tiger won. It was so loud. It was so crazy. They had been talking all weekend. Weather had been pretty bad. So they'd been talking all weekend about how they weren't going to do a green jacket ceremony because the weather was just, they were just hoping to even be able to complete the tournament. So we left thinking the green jacket ceremony wasn't happening, and we get to the car and we're sitting in the never-ending traffic trying to get out of Augusta and find out that the green jacket ceremony happened. It was cut short because, again, of weather. They let off all the horns telling everyone to get out. But I think a big thing for us personally that came out of this is when the initial ideas of the podcast were born.
Yep. This is where Golfish was born.
Where was that? 15th?
It was at the 15th green.
15th green.
Yeah.
So I was telling our friends, whether they wanted to hear it or not, all of my random golf facts as people were coming down the fairway. And our friends looked at us and were like, why don't you do a golf podcast? And it was like, oh.
So basically the entire ride home.
We don't think so.
The entire ride home to our condo in Hilton Head, we were discussing how to bring Golfish to life. So
let's be very clear. Our home is not in Hilton Head.
It is not
we are
in
in Cincinnati. It is 30 degrees outside.
It's Cincinnati 2.0.
But we were headed to the RBC. So number 4.
Number 4 is the official launch of Golfish. That's a big one. July 2019, we officially hit the maps.
We did.
We went worldwide.
We did. We went worldwide by our third week.
By our third week, yeah.
Thanks, Jordan Bazone.
Yeah, right.
We get these random statistics from some things that we've subscribed to. And whoever is listening to us in Austria, thank you. Yeah, because you made us number 1 for a couple of weeks in golf podcasts
pretty awesome.
In Austria.
Yeah.
So we are on, this will be our 23rd episode.
This will be 23.
So it's been a fun ride. We've very thankfully not missed a week. I know there's been a couple of launches in there. We did some stuff for Thanksgiving, things like that, but super excited to keep going and see where 2020 takes us, and excited to kick it off with Jen in January, and then very fortunate to meet Jen and a handful of our guests from this year at the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
Yep.
All right, on to number 5.
Number 5. We already kind of alluded to this one, but it was our first time attending the RBC Heritage, which we very thoroughly enjoyed.
It was fun. Good people.
Great people, great crowd, very relaxed atmosphere. We were able to really get pretty up close to a lot of the players, which was a lot of fun. I mean, it was just, again, it was really nice to kind of go and hang out. We had a few friends that were out there with us as well, and it was really nice to kind of be in that atmosphere and be so close to everybody. So,
yeah, they have a really nice medical tent. They're very, very well staffed.
Yeah. For those
so if if you wear dumb shoes at a golf tournament, that's the place to go for the to visit the nice people in the medical tent. But it's so shockingly different than the Masters in terms of atmosphere and access to players. You are exceptionally close to the players, like pretty much no matter where you go on this course, which the Masters, they're like, unless someone shanks the ball and ends up in the crowd, you don't get that close. So I thought that was really neat. The hospitality there was incredible. We had a really good time. So highly recommend. It's a course that I'd be fascinated to talk to a player or a caddy about, to understand, like, if they went from the Masters to that, how different it feels for them too. Just because as a spectator, you just feel like, especially on like the first first tee when they're walking by that water. I mean, you could have touched any of the players.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
But you could touch any of the players as they're walking by you, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So number 6, I'm going to leave to Rich because he is super into this.
Yeah, so if you guys recall, he's actually still pretty popular on Twitter. He goes by Phil Mickelson, and he is known for hitting bombs.
He is known for hitting bombs, that's
but
right.
He's also known for now his fireside chats, which are quite amazing, actually. He has some great interviews with Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, a few other guys in the locker rooms, as well as sometimes he's just by himself.
Talking to his mom
by the fire. And then, you have, a few people that are trying to antagonize him, like Bubba Watson, who is trying to hit bombs by working out with his shirt off. Quite disturbing. So thank you, 2019, for Phil Mickelson and hitting bombs.
Hitting bombs. Number 7 for us was Gary Woodland and Shane Lowry winning their first majors.
Yeah, buddy. That's awesome.
So
congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's huge.
Great year for both of you. Gary just played in the President's Cup, so if you didn't, for some reason, know Gary very well, you got to see a lot of him over the past few days. If you were as insane as we were and stayed up all night, whether you were working or not. And then Shane Lowry, man, that was
amazing.
Incredible for the Open, for an Irishman to win.
Very cool.
It was neat. We can only imagine what the whole country must have been like celebrating the rest of that week.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Major wins for both of those guys. So congratulations to both Gary and Shane.
Yeah.
All right, number 8. This one's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
Drum roll, please.
So ridiculous. I don't know how to do that. Millennials are accused of killing the game of golf.
Not true.
So if you don't know me very well, and I know a lot of you don't, I am so sick of hearing about all the things millennials do wrong. I am a proud millennial. My husband, Rich, is a millennial, although he denies it a lot of times and claims to be Gen X.
Yeah, I'm on the older end.
He is still not on the oldest end of millennials.
Rock out to 90s rap.
He does. So there are so many really interesting articles written about this, but a lot of people are talking about how it's too expensive to start playing or keep up with playing, joining clubs, going for a round of golf. The rules and some of the traditions can be a little antiquated, and it's not inclusive.
All right, number 9.
So number 9 is really cool.
Yeah,
so
a lot of newbies.
A lot of newbies were winning on the PGA Tour this year. So there are roughly 50 tournaments that happened between the 2018-2019 season, which was October of 2018 to September of 2019.
And these are just PGA newbies,
These
by the
are
way.
just PGA, yes. So almost 30% of the season was won by first-time winners. So
14.
Yeah, there were 14 of them. Super exciting. I didn't even, I looked at some of these and when I was looking back, I was like, wait, they haven't won yet? But some of them have won on the web.com, now the Corn Ferry Tour. Some of them have won PGA Canada, PGA South America. But this is just with PGA. So congratulations to Kevin Tway, Cameron Champ, Adam Long, Martin Traynor, Keith Mitchell, Corey Connors, CT Pan. We saw him win at the RBC. Max Homa, Sung Kang, Nate Lashley, Matthew Wolf with the greatest swing that needs to come back.
So cool.
Dylan Fratelli, Colin Morikawa, and JT Poston. So such an awesome year to watch. It's been so fun because some of these resulted in playoffs where they came from behind and were kind of like the sleeper, and everyone was just super excited for them. So it was really neat to watch.
Yeah. Yep.
So 10 kind of goes along with that.
Yeah, so 10 is we're going to switch gears to the LPGA. We had 8 first-time winners on the LPGA. Really kind of cool because they have a fewer amount of tournaments throughout the year, so they only have 33 tournaments. So if you think about it, there's almost a quarter of the tournaments were won by newbies.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Very cool. So we'll just do a big shout out for Celine Boutier, Bronte Law, Lee Six, Hannah Green, Sydney Clayton, Haniko Shibuno, Cheyenne Knight, Ai Suzuki. So congratulations to you ladies.
Yeah, the interesting thing, if you don't know about PGA, LPGA, Korn Ferry, Symetra, all of the different tours, PGA Asia, the European Tour, all of them play on different cycles. So the 2019 LPGA season was a true 2019. So that runs from January through November. So they'll restart. I want to say they restart like the second week of January.
Sounds right.
Like the 12th or something like that. So it is coming up. Their kickoff is coming up. As you probably know, the PGA kicked off in September.
Yep. So, all right. This is the big one. I feel like.
Yeah.
I know we haven't gotten to the last item, but this one's really big.
Yeah. So
because we're talking about money.
We are talking about money. So I'm going to start with the LPGA. So this is for the 2020 season, but they announced it in 2019, which I thought was exciting. So the LPGA announced a record-breaking $75.1 million in their total purse for the 2020 season, which is incredible.
It's huge.
It's so exciting for the ladies. But I want to give you guys some insight here too. The PGA for 2018-2019, which is the season that just ended in September with the FedEx Cup, they had $376 million for the regular season plus $70 million in prize money for the FedEx Cup playoffs. So when we're talking about essentially pay disparity here, it's crazy to me that the FedEx Cup 3 weeks is worth a 48-week season for the LPGA. It's
progress.
It's progress. It is progress, which I'm super excited about. The LPGA obviously needs some more access to prime time and just TV to air the tournaments, but this year was also the largest purse for the FedEx Cup at $70 million. And the winner got a $15 million bonus. And who was our winner this year?
Congratulations, Rory.
Congratulations,
nice
Rory.
payday.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, you can go on a nice vacation.
Yeah, you can go on a nice vacation with your wife. It'll be great. And then our last one, we are at number 12.
Big 12. All right. We can start the USA chant.
Yeah. USA, USA.
Right? So if you weren't watching, like we were into the wee hours of the morning.
Oh, yes.
The President's Cup was withheld or maintained or...
Maintained.
How would you put that? But the USA kept the cup.
Yes. So that the President's Cup is really interesting. So we have never watched the President's Cup until this year. It got a lot of press because of Tiger and Ernie.
Yeah, 20 years in the making.
20 years in the making. And it happens every other year on odd years. Ryder Cup happens every other year on even years. And so the President's Cup is USA versus internationals, and Ryder Cup is USA versus Europeans. One of the big differences that we definitely didn't know was that one, like who qualified for international. So that was fascinating because there were names that I was not super familiar with, but also if you tie in the Ryder Cup, the previous winners get to keep the cup. Mm-hmm. And if you tie in the President's Cup, it's a push. I don't know where the cup goes. I guess like a storage locker somewhere, but no one gets to win the cup that year. So that was really interesting. Ernie Els took a total, he watched Moneyball a few times and created his team and their pairings with statistics, which was incredible because if you watched anything at the start of the President's Cup, everyone was like, there's no way the USA won't just walk away with this. It'll just be a bloodbath. Like, this is just going to be so disastrous. And then after day one, there was a lot of different conversation about how kind of day one went.
Yeah.
which we were down early. But they came
pulled
back
through.
fighting, and Tiger was an incredible captain and
Lot of fun to
incredible
watch.
player. So much fun to watch. Like we said, we spent way too many late night hours watching this, but so worth it. We had an absolute blast. So on to the Ryder Cup in 2020 at Whistling Straits. The last time we went to a Ryder Cup was in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Hazeltine a couple of years ago, which was a blast. So we're super excited to see the U.S. come back and play in September.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to everyone for listening this season. We are, like we said, very excited to come back next season and bring you some great content. Our first episode is Jen Harrington. First 2 episodes, I guess, are Jen Harrington. She is Scott Harrington's wife. If you don't know her, or if the name doesn't ring a bell, it will as soon as you start hearing the story. They have had all kinds of incredible press for all the right reasons. We are super pumped to see everyone back on January 7th. So we are off the next 2 weeks, which is Christmas week and New Year's week. Hopefully everyone has a wonderful time enjoying with their family. Stay safe, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Happy holidays.
Goodbye. Thanks for joining me this week. Let's continue the conversation online. You can find me at Golfish Podcast or at Miss Amy Goodman on Instagram.